this episode of Be the Teacher, we'll be discussing sound design. We'll talk about the difference between diegetic and non-diegetic, automatic dialogue replacement, the Foley Artist, the cost of music, and sound jobs. Let's get started. Sound designers and composers begin their work by studying the script and gathering as much information as they can about any sound or music it calls for. Some directors will already have a very clear idea about what the sound effects and/or music should sound like, while others may request that the sound designer or composer sit in on rehearsals to assist with developing effects and music to fit the specific contexts in which they will be used. Once they have a precise sense of what the production needs out of the music or sound, the composer begins composing the necessary musical pieces, and the sound designer begins to gather and create necessary sounds. Like so many other areas of film, music, dialogue, and sound effects can each do the following things: suggest a mood, evoke a feeling, set a pace, indicate a geographical locale, indicate a historical period, connect otherwise, unconnected ideas, characters, places, images or moments, draw attention to a detail or away from it, indicate changes in time, emphasize a transition for dramatic effect, startle or soothe. At any given moment in a film, sound is likely to be doing several of these things at once. Before you understand the sound jobs available in the film industry, you need to understand the two different types of sound. There are two types of sound in a movie: diegetic sounds and non-diegetic sounds. But what are they? Diegetic sound is a sound whose source is visible on the screen, or whose source is implied to be present by the action of the film. It could be voices of characters, sounds made by objects in the story, music represented as coming from instruments in the story space. Listen to this example here.
What a lovely surprise. Here you went out, you said you might be late, and instead you come back with champagne and flowers.
As you can see, diegetic sound is any sound that is originated from a source within the film's world. Diegetic sound can be either on-screen or off-screen, depending on whatever its source is within the frame or outside the frame. Even if one person in the film can hear the sound, it is diegetic. For example, if Bobby, our main character, farts, maybe I shouldn't say that, let's say burps, in a crowded classroom, and only Sally can hear it, it is diegetic. Furthermore, if Bobby is thinking to himself and only he and the audience can hear what he is thinking, it is diegetic. All of these sounds are from the world of the film. Non-diegetic sound are sounds whose source is neither visible on the screen nor has been implied to be part of the present action. For example, a narrator's commentary, like my voice right here. Sound effects which add for dramatic effect, like a boing in a Bugs Bunny movie. Mood music, like this. Non-diegetic sound is represented as coming from a source outside of the story space. Non-diegetic music is that music that swells when Bobby and Sally kiss. Can they hear the music? Of course not. Therefore, the music is non-diegetic. Much of the sound in a film is added after the film is done shooting. When you film, the camera does not have the ability to pick up the sounds. A sound designer must be hired, and microphones must be placed all around the set. The sound designer will record a higher quality sound, blocking out all the noises and distractions. These sounds are then edited into the film. The process takes about 6 to 8 weeks to complete. Sound has a huge impact on your film. I mean, without good sound, your audience might be removed from the world of the film. After you have a rough edit of your film, you have a basic dialogue. That is all you hear when you sit down to watch a very early version of your film. There is no music, no special effects, and the first version is filled with errors. So what do? How do you fix your film so it is ready to show to an audience? There are some steps you have to go through, and there are some people who have jobs that can help you through those steps. First, let's discuss ADR, or automatic dialogue replacement. This is typically referred to as lip syncing or looping. Here, the actors are brought into an ADR room. In the ADR room, the actor will replace lines that were poorly recorded, out of sync, or overpowered. The ADR room is usually 100 feet to 75 feet long because sound and light travel at different speeds, so the actor must be a certain distance from the screen to successfully loop his or her voice. The work print is projected on a screen, and the actor will be cued to redo their dialogue. For small budget features, directors usually have 1 to 3 days of ADR, while the big budget features can have 1 to 3 weeks. Now, Foley is one of the most interesting jobs. Did you ever wonder what really makes the sound when a sword swooshes through the air? Foley artists create those everyday sounds by doing things like crinkling cellophane or flapping cardboard. Many times, the ADR and the Foley room is one and the same. After you hire a Foley room, usually you have to hire a Foley team. As a team of 2, the Foley artists will isolate moments where sounds need to be recreated, and they will work to replace certain tracks of the film. A Foley team can cost from $200 to $500 an hour. Many small budget films can only afford footsteps, but ideally, a small budget director would also like to save up so that they can include clothes and paper wrestling. Believe it or not, those things really matter. Now, for small budget films, you should never use popular songs. 5 to 10 seconds of the Beatles in your film could cost upwards to $200,000. In addition, an actor in your film cannot use too many words from the song or even hum a phrase from the movie. In fact, Paul McCartney owns the rights to the song Happy Birthday, and he will charge you if you use it in your film. In the movie Almost Famous by Cameron Crowe, the director budgeted between $2 and $5 million for the rights to certain songs. He paid $2 to $5 million for a few songs. This is called music clearance. Public domain songs and royalty-free music, like songs from a website like Imbotech, are free to use in your film. Public domain songs are songs that were recorded 95 years ago. You are allowed to use recordings that were done 95 years or more. If, however, a modern artist has re-recorded that song, for example, if Lady Gaga does Beethoven, you may not use the modern-day recording. You may print out the sheet music of a song and hire your own artist to record the song. Still, with so many variables, hiring an orchestra to play Beethoven may prove to be very expensive. So for small budget films, a director should hire a local and/or undiscovered musician. Using undiscovered talents could be a very inexpensive way to get sound in your film. Remember, any distribution company will demand that you get a release up front that allows the company to own the rights to any song included in the movie. Any musician who you will use will need to sign a waiver and release up front. Now, the easiest way to accomplish this task is to hire a musician to create music specifically for your film. By hiring a musician specifically for original music, you can get contracts signed up front, and if the musician does not sign the contract, he or she will not get hired or paid. Remember, this is an opening title credit position, and those opening title cards are very important in the film industry. In the textbook, you'll find a number of sound jobs that are available, like the sound designer, the sound engineer, a boom operator, a sound mixer, and like we said before, a Foley artist. You'll also find utility sound technicians. Those are the guys who lay down all the cables. Sound actually has some of the most jobs of all areas of film. You can get a job in sound and work for a very long time and live a very comfortable life. Remember, for the larger sound presentation, you can go to my website, click on Homework Central, click on our film page, and go down to the Templates folder. Once you're at the Templates folder, you'll download the Sound Design template, and you'll save it and open it. Once you download the PowerPoint, there's instructions for the assignment in the actual PowerPoint. The first slide is a warning, and trust me, you want to listen to that warning even if you've already listened to this particular Be the Teacher. Remember, you have to provide descriptions of why you've chosen certain songs, and past students have provided really weak descriptions. Well, weak descriptions equals a point loss. So, when you're describing why you're choosing a song, you want to be thorough. and you want to make a plea for why this song is the best song for this moment of the director's treatment. Weak descriptions equals points lost, and no one wants that. Remember, for this assignment you must find 3 songs with words, 3 songs without words, and 2 sound effects. 4 moments must be diegetic. That means the actors can hear the particular sounds in songs. The sound effects are a given. The actors will hear those for sure, which means that at least 2 of your songs must play during the actual movie. For example, on a radio, while the character is driving in his or her car, or at a dance, while 2 characters are dancing with one another. 4 songs must be non-diegetic. That means 4 songs will play in the background. Now, what I always recommend doing is finding the song that will play during the opening credits, the song that will play at the climax of your movie, the song that will play at the end of your movie, and then you just have 3 songs that you have to fit in those middle spaces. Now, for the description slides, you're going to put the song name, you're going to say who wrote or sang that song, and where the song would occur in the movie. List the songs in order. And you must provide the line from the director's treatment where the song would occur. When you describe why you're using the song, say why it is the perfect song. List a line from the song and explain how it ties into the treatment, or explain how the rhythm of the music complements the director's vision. You want to provide an explanation of why the song would be included in the movie. Now remember, 3 of the moments must be diegetic, so if this is a diegetic moment, identify the moment as diegetic and tell how it is included in the scene. Link the song to YouTube. In other words, go on YouTube and find a link and include it on the slide. Your slides will look somewhat like this. The song here is Waiting on the World to Change, an instrumental version. Now, it's the 3rd song in the movie, and it's composed and sung by John Mayer. I'm currently building a song list for the Big Valley Jamboree treatment that I have, a story about Sophie and Millie that I've used in other Be the Teachers. The moment from the treatment that I'll be using is after the parents leave. Millie spends the day downtown with the neighbor, Dale, and sees an ad for the Big Valley Jamboree Music Festival. That's the actual line from the director's treatment. And now I say why this song is the perfect song for this moment. You see, the song has a slow, mellow feeling, just like the director's vision. The line, waiting for the world to change, shows how Millie and Sophie want more out of life. We get an idea of how bored they are, and the song foreshadows the adventures ahead. And by the way, it's a non-diegetic song, which means it will be playing in the background. The characters won't be able to hear it. And look, there's the link to YouTube. If you clicked on that, we'd be taken to the song. You want each one of your slides to work this way. That's what a sound designer does. He or she picks the perfect music and the perfect sound effects for a movie. All this makes up the soundscape of the movie. That's all the sound that's added to the film. Those sounds are either non-diegetic or diegetic. We learned about Foley Artists and what they do. We learned about automatic dialogue replacement or looping. We learned the rules of music, how you can't just put any song in any movie. So that's it. That's it for this episode of Be the Teacher. Again, if you get stuck on either the mini assignment or the larger hands-on, come and watch this video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode of Be the Teacher.